said that she would then allow a response from a majority of the board to actually respond to the report instead of you going on about gravy trains and everything else, because it had nothing to do with the response. So that's one. The three of us got together as the majority, and we then responded to their questions, and this will be part of the report. It's about 6 or 7 pages long, and will hopefully be a public document and everyone can read it.
Now, I just want to make, yes, we don't have the supervisor's response in our folder, neither do we have Councilmember Yee's, but that's okay because we have them on email. I just want to respond to Councilmember Yee saying that the majority of the board didn't include his response or didn't consider his response. I have his response. His response was, it was sent out at 10:18, I think, if you can just give me 1 second as I check this. So it was 10:18 the night before, and I want to tell you, you know, that's kind of late to
Liz, make your
speak
point,
to
please.
us. I'm making my point,
Thank
Supervisor. Right now, 11:18. I'm sorry, it's 11:18. And what happened was, here's the response that was signed by 3 members of the board. It's to Mrs. Cia Batoni. Thank you for permitting us the opportunity, Cia Batoni, just like comptroller. You know what I got to do? I got to start talking about incept. I want you all to go out there and look up the definition of
Liz,
incept.
please make your point.
It's said so
lengthy
many
agenda.
times that, well, I don't know. I get corrected for saying Cia Batoni wrong, and I can't say incept is wrong? Okay, let's go back.
Can we stay on point, please?
Cia Batoni.
Can we stay on point, please?
No, I'm staying on point. What I'm saying on, you know what the point is? The point is that you two are pointless, and when I try to make a point, you try to make fun. You ready? Let's start over again. Ms. Cia Batoni, thank you for permitting us the opportunity to respond to your confidential draft report of examination, the report. Please be advised that we have submitted this response pursuant to your October 8, 2010 and subsequent emails, in which you said that the members of the town board could send another response that addressed the report. In a later email, you did say that you would accept a town board response signed by a majority of town board members. On October 18, 2010, Councilwoman Hudak spoke to Mr. Chris Ellis, who said that we would be granted an additional day's time to respond because of, among other issues, Councilperson Yee's email of his own response late October 17, 2010, citing the failure of the councilpersons Hudak, Gross, and Cullen to include him in such a response. In fact, Councilperson Hudak asked for an additional day to ensure that Councilperson Yee's comments were considered in the response. The town board thanks Mr. Ellis for the additional day to accommodate the inclusion of Councilperson Yee's responses. And I will tell you that we took Councilmember Yee's responses, which I have right now in front of me, not in the folder, but I have it on my computer screen, and considered those. And what they really were a bunch of responses that said, yes, we will do this. The board will adopted Dwight. The board will adopted a policy and will develop procedures to govern the level and determine the reasonableness of the amount of unreserved, unappropriated fund balance that the town should maintain. The town may be paying the town board will immediately review the town attorney's firm for legal services. The board will ensure that the financial statements prepared by the CPA firm are received within 60 days. There was really nothing other than what would be considered, according to the comptroller, the report that must be issued by the town board to address the issues in the report. That's really what it is. And by the way, our responses also included some recommendations for what's going to happen, but you really can't go all the way until you get the final report. And that's the final report that's going to be issued that all of you can see, all right? Every one of you can see. And then all of you can weigh in. You should come to a town board meeting and make certain that you will do this, because, you know, the bottom line is, oh, here it is, okay. Because all of us need to weigh in on this. You know, this is a government, this is a town. I've said it over and over again. And all of you have to get involved in this. So you're going to have to come to a work session. And when you come to a work session, you give us your responses. Because when the report comes through, the report that should be, I keep on forgetting to remind everyone, you know that confidential report that it's you know, it's not,
Liz,
no. We have the right to disseminate this confidential report. I read it, what the heck, I'll read it again. This is when the report was sent, the draft confidential report, which apparently Councilmember Yee last week read a letter from a Wall Street attorney who was never identified. That was an unidentified person who told us, apparently in this letter, that it's okay, we can take this confidential report and just disseminate it and hand it out to news agents.
Because the confidentiality attaches to us,
Absolutely.
not to the report.
Can we
We
get back
still
on
don't, we
point,
still don't
please?
know, we still don't know who it is. Here's the point, you ready? Because, once
Yes,
again, it was a
ready.
confidential report. This is from Christopher J. Ellis, who's the fellow that I spoke to that gave extra day because of the late response by Councilmember Yee. This is to inform you that the Office of the State Comptroller will contact your office to schedule an exit conference at a mutually convenient time to discuss the attached preliminary draft findings of our recent examination of the town of Southeast. The purpose of this discussion will be to help ensure that the facts on which we have relied in preparing these findings are accurate and complete. Because these findings are still subject to change, we ask that, to the maximum extent permitted by law, the information contained in this document be kept confidential until we, as in the state, formally release the report of examination from our central office. We also ask that by October 18, 2010, an appropriate official of the town of Southeast send to our Newburgh Regional Office at 33 Airport Center Drive, Suite 103, New Windsor, New York, 12553, a letter responding to our preliminary draft findings. And then they gave us a responding to audit. They gave us this responding to an OSC audit and corrective plans, and in here it says that a corrective plan will be drawn up and sent after the final report is issued. And I think the corrective, we have 30 days to do that, and I think it's 60 or 90 days
May I
to
have the
do
floor,
the
please?
corrective action.
Thank you.
Yes.
May I have the floor?
So that's what it
Can
is.
you end your filibuster
I do,
so
I
someone
do.
else can speak?
No, it's not a
May I
filibuster.
have the
It's
floor?
it's giving the facts. It's giving something besides political fodder to the people. That's what it is.
May I have the floor,
FODDER.
please? Thank you.
Yes, Councilman.
This confidential report obviously has been sent out, and like I said to you, we've discussed it, and we've discussed it with Wall Street lawyers also, to see if the confidentiality and the protection of the town also come into play. And this is what the attorney wrote to me. It would seem that any right to confidentiality regarding the audit of the town's fiscal activities by the state comptroller would belong to the town, the subject of the report and not the comptroller, the agency which performed the audit. Therefore, if the town supervisor in his discretion decides to discuss the report or publish portions of the report due to the serious nature, the supervisor should be allowed to do so. That being said, I note that the report is marked draft, and it is the comment not intended for external distribution on the top of each page. Again, this language is probably intended to protect the town and not the comptroller. However, an argument can be made that it might be better to wait until the report was finalized before publishing its findings, unless urgent action was required. And I have deemed urgent action to be required because back in July, I had prepared, because of this comptroller's audit, that there were problems with our legal services and how much we were paying out. And I had sent that report to members of this town board for review and to take action on, and nothing was done about it. And I don't know what else is going to scare this town board, or quote-unquote the majority of the town board, to act on trying to save a few dollars. However, in doing so, and knowing that this report had come out, criticizing the town board and its legal services, the majority members of the board still signed a check over to council for a total of $18,000 despite this report, which I found, again, ridiculous. We've been criticized by the comptroller's office, and yet they still sign a check over. You couldn't sit down and discuss it. We couldn't go into an executive session to discuss it. Instead, they continue to protect this report, continue to write checks, and then you worry about what time I wrote this report. That has nothing to do with it. Number one, the fund balance is in danger of being depleted. My answer was the board will adopt a policy and will develop procedures to govern the level and determine the reasonableness of the amount of unreserved, unproportioned fund balance that the town should maintain. Number two, the town board will immediately review the town attorney's firm for legal services. My response was the town may be paying the town attorney's firm for legal services that should be included in a town attorney's annual salary. the board will provide a written job description to the town attorney and enter into a written contract with the town attorney's firm for legal services. Therefore, the attorney and the board will know what is expected of the attorney for his salary as a town employee. And B, the board will follow up with the comptroller's referral to the New York State local retirement system regarding the town attorney's legal fees charged as an independent contractor to determine if they were valid. And my answers go on, and you can criticize my answers all you like, Ms. Hudak, but my answers should have been included in what's called your report that starts with, thank you for permitting us. And once again, you call yourself us. This town board really needs to work together. And when they continue with the 3-2 us against them, I will continue to fight because I keep saying...
But now, Councilman, it's 3-3 because now the comptroller has agreed with you and me that the model is broken, the model has to change.
Right, so we now have a third party that has supported our decision. And not only a third party, but the New York State Comptroller's report. Not only that, back with that garbage contract, we had a judge who had said, a New York State Supreme Court judge who stated that you should not go with the higher bid. And yet, there's no stopping now. The gravy train keeps rolling. I hate to use those terms. I hate that people are arrogant, that we don't, and we don't keep doing, and we keep fighting, and we seem to be the bad guys all the time. But apparently we're not the bad guys. Apparently we have a comptroller's office report that says, you know what, something's wrong. There are 8 recommendations in here that need to be corrected immediately, and yet the majority continue to protect the dollars going out the door. So laugh at me, make fun of me, don't go into executive session, bang the gavel as many times as you want, but you know what? We're going to make our point. And if our frustration exceeds to the level of normalcy around here, then so be it. Let it get onto YouTube. Let the people know what's going on here. Because when $18,000 gets signed out the door, despite the comptroller's report, I don't know what else to do other than asking the people in the audience and asking the community to come out and say something. If they don't want to support us, then fine, vote us out. Let them continue to sign the $18,000 out.
The bottom line is...
Right, exactly.
The bottom line is...
Right.
Go ahead. The bottom line is that with respect to my analogy, and I take responsibility for it, the gravy train. The gravy train has a it is a figurative metaphor for what really exists with respect to public spending. If we take a look at it, if we have we take a look at Town Hall.
Oh, here comes the problem.
Yep. We take a look at Town Hall, right? And I've been pricing just a little bit. I've been pricing gold domes because many, state capitals or what have you, or town halls and so forth have gold domes. If we added a gold dome to the town hall for about, Liz, you're right in front of the camera. I have no doubt that's on purpose.
Well, you don't have to stand in front of the
Well, he
camera.
has an easel. He has an easel.
Liz, you're right in front of the camera, but obviously that's on purpose. If we had a $400,000 gold dome on Town Hall, that could easily have been paid for out of the garbage revenues. In fact, the $857,000 overpayment, in fact, we could have 2 gold domes on Town Hall and have saved in excess of $50,000. Now, if anybody says that the gravy train doesn't have an impact...
Then we need an engineer for the RFP.
Because what we don't have are 2 gold domes on Town Hall. What
God.
we do have is an overpayment for our garbage, which we place at the end of our driveways, and it vanishes. $1 million more, $1 million less, there it is. There are, the bottom line is, again, with respect to the overpayments, we can go there. I mean, now I've been invited to do so. I think it's probably time.
Sorry, Andy. Get replaced by paper.
I have all night.
No, you're just a citizen. You don't get to speak.
I have all night.
Run for office, you'll get to speak.
I'm not going anywhere. He can take it himself. He's capable. We look at the gravy train. We look at the 8, let's see, we had a 4.5. This isn't going to come out. I need a different marker. There's one right there. There's one right there.